Hi, and welcome to Electric Entertainment. Today we're going to hear about Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Chunk No Captain Chunk, and Asking Alexandra. We've got Brianna, Tyler, Jamar, and Riley with us today. Let's get started. This is Electric Entertainment. Wonka chocolate bars, everlasting gobstoppers, and Wonka nerds, oh my! Willy Wonka has forever changed the candy industry. Let's hear from the amazing Brianna and Jamar compare the world-famous movies Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory or Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory? That's the question. Well, fortunately, I have an answer for you. It's clearly Charlie for a variety of reasons. One being the good acting and the humorous dialogue by the main characters.
I beg to differ. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory is clearly superior. Compared to the original movie, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is a big step down. The lack of emotions displayed by most of the characters like Charlie, I find disturbing. When it comes to acting, I believe Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory is full of real and sincere emotions, and that's what I like most.
Well, speaking of actors, the acting skills from just about every other character besides Willy Wonka in the movie Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory was just boring and horrible. And the character Charlie was horribly boring and seemed like he was just lost. He actually was the worst type of main character I have ever seen in my days.
Although I agree the acting in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory isn't nearly as good as the acting in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, the rude jokes told by Willy Wonka that are said throughout the whole movie really irk me. Watching the first Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory was like looking into a candy-filled dream with characters who didn't disappoint when it came to personalities. When I first saw Charlie and the Chocolate Factory with Johnny Depp, I didn't think any less of it, but all the scenes and the characters were old to me. Tim Burton did a good job on taking the movie in a new direction by adding in extra scenes about Willy Wonka's background, but I felt they were unnecessary and take away from the time in the factory, therefore making the actual movie too fast-paced.
Well, in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, Willy Wonka wasn't so innocent himself. He made all types of rude comments to the little boys and girls, and he was also rather creepy at some points. For an example, when they were going through the tunnel, his eyes just got big and he just kept staring straight, singing a song while the boat kept going faster and faster. Wow, that was creepy. And I even had nightmares about that.
Unlike Willy Wonka and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory's jokes were subtle and go right over the heads of most people. Plus, even if your mind can't be changed on how you feel, you can't disagree that Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory is an unforgettable movie in its originality and kid-friendly qualities, and also in its beautiful, heartfelt songs. And plus, you can quote Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, with some of my favorite quotes being, "You get nothing, you lose, good day, sir. You stole fizzy lifting drink, and these schnozberries taste like snozberries."
All right, let's just find 3 people and see how they feel about this. We'll ask them which is better and why, and whoever gets the most amount of points, the most amount of votes, will get the person's point of view and the bragging rights. What do you think about that, homie?
I like Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory better because it's the original, and I think it tells more of the story and it focuses more on the factory.
I personally think that Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is better because it's more based on the book, and I know that that Willy Wonka is the original movie, but the second one definitely picks it up, especially with people like Johnny Depp.
Yeah. I prefer Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory because it's the classics. It's where it all came back. It's like Michael Jackson, King of Pop. It's like the King of the Chocolate Factory. So Willy Wonka is where it's at. So beat that, Charlie.
Well, there you have it. We got the people's opinions on the classic and its remake, and the results were rather surprising. Well, that's all for this week, and I like to do the cha-cha like a sissy girl.
Thanks for watching. That's all for this week. Now back to you, Chelsea.
I like a do the cha-cha.
Wow, you're right. Those results sure were surprising. I sure do have a sweet tooth for Wonka candy. Next, we're going to hear from Riley about the band Chunk No Captain Chunk. And no, it's not a type of Chips Ahoy cookie. Riley?
Hi, welcome to Riley's Magic Music Mix-Up. This week we'll be taking a look at Chunk No Captain Chunk, a 5-member pop-punk easycore band formed in 2007 out of Paris, France. Their great balance of having jumpy, catchy pop-punk riffs and hard-hitting breakdowns played a huge deal in getting them signed to In Vogue Records and Ice Grills Records in a short 3-year span. They released their first album, Something for Nothing, on November 1st, 2010 in Europe and worldwide on November 2nd, 2010. Their influence includes bands from genres ranging from indie to hardcore and ambient to death metal. Their hardcore influences are very evident in the first song on the album, Born for Adversity, which has an incredibly strong For the Fallen Dreams vibe. They also show their For the Fallen Dreams influence on the 10th track, Captain Blood. They're on the brink of being considered melodic hardcore, but then the clean vocals kick in, which for some either make or break the band. I personally love pop punk and easycore. I love the clean vocals. I feel that it adds a great versatility to the band. Without the clean vocals, they would not be very distinguishable. On one of the singles on the album, In Friends We Trust, features those easycore defining keys. This really shows Chunk can make a heavy song happy and catchy. There's a tough balancing in keeping it pop punk, but they prove themselves surely in this track. A music video was released for In Friends We Trust in early September of 2010. Then you have their track Summer Heat, which has a stereotypical yet cozy lyrical theme about the summer, and it's really catchy. If I had to pick out something that I did not like about this album, it would be the dance section towards the end of Sink or Swim. Sure, it could be fun at a live show, but I'm happy that they decided to stick it to one session instead of trying to cram it into every song like bands such as Attack Attack. Overall, I think Chunk No Captain Chunk is a great band, and I would recommend them to almost anyone who is even remotely interested in pop punk or hardcore. I think fans of both genres could find a mutual interest in Chunk. If you want some more info on Chunk, you can follow them on Twitter at twitter.com/chunknocaptainc. You can also find them on Facebook at facebook.com/cnccband. Well, that's all for this week on Riley's Magic Music Mix-Up. Back to you, Chelsea.
That sure does sound like some good music. Next, we'll go to Tyler and review this band, Asking Alexandria. You know, I once had an aunt named Alexandria, but she was kind of crazy and no one really ever asked her anything important. Tyler? Started with a sweet tooth for gumdrops and chocolate bars. I learned that Chunk No Captain Chunk is not a type of cookie, and I remembered how crazy my aunt really is. Well, we've got to go. I just found out that my manager hasn't paid the electricity bill.